So the obvious question is, and it could go to good for you girls and what you do, but okay, I have a 3-year-old. I am typically the one that bathes all three of my kids. I've got an 8-year-old, he does his own thing, but I've got our 6-year-old and our daughter, Allegra. They still like to bathe together. So I took your note and I will definitely try to have her start, washing and scrubbing herself. But what products should I be using so I can lower that preference for estrogen kind of coming into their system?
Yeah, so you wanna start with anything with a like synthetic fragrance, right? Anything with a synthetic fragrance actually covers up a lot
Don't
of.
use those.
So don't use anything with a synthetic fragrance. We use essential oils in our products. We use natural scents in our products because we want them to smell good, because obviously you want them to use the product, right? So that's part of the experience, is when they're enjoying a product, they will actually use it. So there's a lot of things. There's parabens, phthalates, dyes, like I said, the fragrance, anything with alcohol, is not a good to have exposure to. Polyethylene glycol, PEG, it would usually be on a label, PEG, polyethylene glycol. I mean, we have a lot of these ingredients that we've known forever that should not be in skincare products. The European Union actually prohibits a lot of products, the EU, and, a lot of companies will actually make two versions. They'll have an American version, they'll have an EU version, that kind of thing. So it's not necessarily that less ingredients is more, but fewer products is better, right? So, and if a company does not disclose what we call the INCI, meaning the entire ingredient list, just don't buy it, right? Because they're certainly hiding something. You're not going to buy a product because it has bullet points of ingredients, right? You want to really look at a label. You want to be critical, and I think that's a huge lesson in this. And a lot of people say, well, the government should regulate and yada, yada. No, consumers have the power. I always put it in, by the time the FDA will regulate something, it's going to be 8 years. And now we have, and now we have new technology, and you got to go through it really stifles innovation. So consumers really have the power. Just read the ingredient list.
So sorry, go ahead.
No. And really make, critical thinking and decisions on that. And, if there's a word you don't understand, Google it, right? Like, what is this? And then is it a chemical based or is it a plant based, right? And so it really comes down to trust, as well.
Would boys be in that same, obviously, tact when you're talking about skincare products? I don't want Callan, my 6-year-old, to start getting estrogen early. So basically follow the same rule for the boys.
Yeah, all the same rule for the boys. Boys are wonderful, and people always give me a hard time. It's like, why not boys? And I love boys, but I'm a mom of 2 girls. So for me, it was the emotional, physical connection for me. That's why Good For You Girls, really came to be. But boys, yeah, I mean, boys need to be critical as well. I mean, keep them away. You're going to, middle school, they're going to douse themselves with all those chemicals and things like that. There are, nice natural, products out there that have nice natural scents, for men as well. And I think their hygiene is super important, right? They think of it a little bit later. They come into it, right, a little bit later. But, personal care or self-care and feeling good about yourself is more than just not stinking, right? It's taking pride in ownership, right? We own this. And it's like your first car, right? If you're gifted a car, you don't take care of it as well as you would if you saved up your money and bought your first car, right? And I think there's this wonderful lesson and connection to our bodies that we have the ability to teach. You own it, you take care of it.